Okay, hello you beautiful people. Welcome back. This is going to be the first video about ZBCN in 2026, and I think we should actually start this year by talking about this ISO 2022 compliance, and I'm going to tell you why this is actually very bullish for Zebec, and also we are going to talk about the potential effects of this in the coming year. So let's dive in and see what is going on. And basically, in my view, this update, meaning the ISO 2022, is essentially like the final missing piece in Zebec's long-term plan, because this tweet actually confirms that Zebec has fully completed its ISO 22 integration, which is the global standard that banks are right now using to communicate with each other. And this matters quite a lot because it is going to hopefully remove the technical barrier between a blockchain network, like for example Zebec, and the traditional banking system. Zebec, from this point moving forward, is just not going to be operating outside the system. From this point moving forward, they are going to be involved directly in it. And to understand this in a simple way, basically think of banks and blockchains as speaking completely different languages. For many years, moving money between them actually required a slow and I would say very much expensive middleman, which caused delays and also a whole lot of errors. Now, ISO 2022 is actually the new universal language that major banks and financial institutions were forced, again, pay attention, were forced to adopt by late 2025, and Zebec has now upgraded its entire system with the help of the recent partnerships and acquisitions to speak that same language very much fluently. So the result is actually very clear. Zebec from now on is able to send money and detailed payment data straight into bank systems, payroll providers, and also financial institutions without friction. And from a technical point of view, this puts ZBCN on the same operational levels as regulated financial infrastructure. This is like that much of an insanely big deal, and this is, I would say, exactly why this tweet is talking about operating at the intersection of crypto and traditional finance, because most crypto projects are right now trying to replace banks, which is why they hit a lot of regulatory walls. On the other hand, Zebec in here is doing the opposite, meaning they are trying to upgrade how banks move money by keeping every single thing compliant while using blockchain technology in the background, again, not the front end, in the background for speed and efficiency. Because it's very important to understand that, again, like we said also earlier, banks are actually quite slow because they process payments in batches. But Zebec in here is quite fast because it is using real-time streaming payments. And now that both sides speak the same financial language through ISO 22, okay, banks can use Zebec's real-time engine without breaking compliance rules. And this, in my view, is going to open the doors for a whole lot of adoption in 2026. Now, in terms of what those adoptions and institutions could potentially look like, I think the first one has to be in payroll giants. You see, companies like, for example, ADP, they are moving trillions of dollars every single year, but they simply cannot touch non-compliant technology. Now, Zebec in here is absolutely now ISO 22 compliant, and these firms from this point moving forward are going to be able to integrate Zebec's instant payroll features directly into their system as a result of Zebec being ISO 22 compliant. And in the future, a normal employee, for example, could get paid instantly through Zebec rails without ever knowing crypto is involved. Because let's be honest, if you are requiring your customers to understand how the crypto stuff works, ultimately, I just don't really think you're going to have a lot of adoption. And the best way to do it, I would say, is this: if you want to hit mass adoption, your technology should be working in the background without your customer experiencing any sort of inconvenience. Now, the second door I'm going to say is probably going to be cross-border payments, because today sending money from United States to, for example, Europe or maybe Asia or maybe Africa is very much slow because old systems strip important data along the way. Now, ISO 22 actually allows rich data like, for example, invoices, tax info, and also compliance checks to move together with the money. And this is going to let Zebec handle complex international business payments that traditional systems struggle with, especially I'm going to say for global companies. And this could, I would say, be another very important area that in 2026 we are going to attract a whole lot of adoption from this region. Now, door number 3 is probably going to be institutional liquidity, because banks and asset managers are required by law to use a standardized financial messaging. Now, by meeting this standard, meaning ISO 22, okay, Zebec is going to remove a major compliance risk for them. And this is going to make it like much easier for institutions to interact with Zebec's ecosystem and potentially and hopefully hold or use ZBCN without any legal friction. And from a token perspective, this is a pure infrastructure play, because very few crypto projects go through the slow, expensive process of, and I would say even like absolutely boring process of ISO 22 compliance. For Zebec, in my view, this is going to create a very strong moat, and Zebec's tokenomics depend on usage and volume, and traditional payroll volume is large and consistent compared to volatile crypto activity. And even let's consider like a very small part of that flow moving through Zebec. Okay, even in that case, the impact on the ZBCN supply dynamics, I think, can absolutely be meaningful over a mid to long period of time. Okay, I don't really care about the short-term price action when it comes to fundamentals. This isn't really going to determine what's going to happen to Zebec tomorrow, or maybe the day after, or maybe even, let's say, in the next couple of weeks. If you want to know what's happening in the short term, you are probably like way better off getting help from technical analysis side of stuff. But if you care about the project that you are investing, and you are also like me, a bit of a fair value and I would say long-term investor, these are the things that you need to pay full attention to. So to wrap it up, I think this tweet is telling us that the plumbing is finally finished, and Zebec has built the pipes and now has permission to connect to the global banking system. And the next phase, I would say likely in 2026, is going to be about naming the partners who will actually use the system. And that, my friends, is where fundamental is going to meet price action. So again, for this whole year, I am extremely bullish. I do think we are going to witness great price appreciation for the token, but what's going to happen in the very short term heavily depends on technical analysis of ZBCN token, and I would say to a good degree on what is going on with BTC. Why do I say that? Because in a lot of other altcoins, I'll be honest with you, I don't really think that we have like any unfinished business around the lows, and we can easily pump big time. However, if BTC wants to go down once more, well, okay, at that point, I don't really think that we are going to witness altcoins actually catching a break. If BTC wants to go down for like one more last leg, okay, odds are in alts we are going to witness another move down. And Zebec, I really have a hard time that is going to be like an exception to this. And if we end up getting a move down, believe me when I tell you, I am going to take advantage of this buying opportunity big time, and I'm going to add a whole lot of ZBCN to my portfolio, because I have done my research. And I would also highly suggest to just don't listen to anybody, even including me. Just do your due diligence, come up with your own conclusion. Why do I say that? Because if, let's say, we're going to have like a massive move on the downside in Zebec, and we're going to get to this important level about, let's say, 0.15 of a cent. At that point, the only thing that is going to make you say, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to buy the dip more and more, is if you have fundamental wise great solid conviction, and those types of convictions are not going to be achieved by listening to other people. Okay, if you want to be a long-term investor, you should 100% first things first, do your due diligence. And then if you think, for example, ZBCN is a great project, then okay, then feel free to watch some YouTube videos, maybe not even including mine, in order to stay updated with the news. Now, in terms of technical analysis, what is going on? Couple of important points. Number one, this, my friends, is exactly why when we are around these areas, we are saying, look, let's be a bit more patient and see Are we going to have one more move up and then a move on the downside or not? And let's not be overwhelmingly optimistic. And what happened? We did get a move down, and in it we took the loss. So I think now we have to argue this is actually just an ABC zigzag as opposed to an impulse, and this is why we shouldn't be jumping into any kind of unnecessary bullish, or maybe I'm gonna say probably bearish conclusions as well. Point number two, as you can see right now, we are around this important level, and I'm really hoping that we are going to react to this thing. And the question is, okay, did we take the lowest low in here or not? Because if we haven't, well, odds are unfortunately we got some more work to do, and maybe we're gonna have another move down. So let's hide everything with that said and zoom in more and see, did we take the lows or not? Let's just stretch the chart a little bit more. As you can see, I'm gonna say, yeah, probably by a decent margin, we have taken the lows. So once more, I'm gonna say it, we don't really have any unfinished business around these areas. And Elliott Wave wise even, I'm gonna argue that we are actually completely good to go up. However, whether we are going to go up or not, again, for that, you need to analyze the short-term price action. And if I just zoom in a bit more, I'm going to say in ZBCN, one very important thing that we all need to pay attention to is actually this important line right in here. If we end up getting a break of this line, since I think if you go on some higher time frames, you are also seeing a bit of a divergence in here. And if we go up and break this important line, odds are that bearish divergence is broken as well, and it is going to send us up. We can at that point be bullish with more confidence. And also, I'm going to argue if we end up in ZBCN breaking this important line, do a pullback, and then get a continuation of the move up, essentially this possible head and shoulder is going to be confirmed. And the target for it, let's just real quick put the chart on regular scale and measure the height of our supposedly head and shoulder structure from this point to about here, and then put this thing at our breaking point. This is giving you about like a 0.28 ZBCN, meaning we can expect something like a 15-20% move on the upside. But I think we can actually go like quite a bit higher than that, since Elliott Wave wise, if this is truly bullish, okay, I think our move up is going to hopefully soon get accelerated quite a lot. Why? Because simple reason, you see, for those of you who are new viewers, my field of works is Elliott Waves. And in terms of Elliott, if you want to argue in here, we're going to have our final low. Let's consider this as like a very important support area, which in case of ZBCN, it is like literally a very key support. Then, okay, off of the lowest low in here, you have to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific scenario is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, our wave 3 in here should not be the smallest wave. And in terms of the sub waves, you know it, we're gonna have 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. Let's change the colors also. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different possibilities. Let's say sure WXY into wave 2, and maybe like an ABC structure into wave 4. Now, here is a very, very important point. Even if we're gonna get a 5 wave up right around the highs, is not actually the time to be overwhelmingly optimistic and call this thing our final low with a good bit of confidence and buy the top. Absolutely not. Why is that? Because even according to the most bullish case, after completing a 5 wave on the upside, what are you going to get? You know it, a bit of a move on the downside. And if this is going to be compared to this phase up, a relatively slow and choppy move down, which is a key characteristic of a correction structure, yeah, okay, you know what, fair enough, maybe at that point we're gonna be bullish. And I think we have something like that. You see, as long as in ZBCN we are not taking this important slowdown here about, let's say, 0.21 cents, we can argue that this initial move on the upside is a 5 wave, and on a higher degree, hopefully it's going to be into a wave 1, followed by a correction for wave 2. And what's next? You know it, according to this scenario, like a massively strong move on the upside into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And why do we say that? Because in terms of Elliott waves, it's very important to understand that wave 3 in most cases is actually quite a strong and sharp move up. So again, as long as we're not taking the loss, in my view, in ZBCN, makes perfect sense to argue we do have a great bullish setup, and we can expect some good moves on the upside to hopefully show up. I'm gonna say probably as we get closer and closer to the end of January. Usually, if you go back and check out the market, generally in February, we are actually witnessing some great moves on the upside, and I really have a hard time believing that this is going to be like an exception scenario. No, I think also this February, we are going to witness some good moves up. And as we get closer and closer to the end of January, I'm going to argue time is actually running out for us to have like one more move on the downside and maybe even the lowest end. And from here, we can expect some good moves up. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in ZBCN's charts. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.